doing Bayelsa is prostitution, and it has to stop.
Hello, welcome to another amazing episode of Table Matters Podcast, the most entertaining and educating podcast of our time. If you are watching this podcast right now, you are definitely going to be entertained because Table Matters always offers you the best programs, the best entertainment, and definitely the best gist. I have with me legendary Manuel, myself, Odogwu Vibes. And guess what? We have a guest on our podcast today, none other than Princess Zipere Eradiri. She is from Agudama, Ekpetiaba, Yenagoa local government area, Bayelsa State. She has a BSc on Human Resource Management, and she won Miss Salga 2013, Miss Bayelsa 2014, and Miss Nollywood 2015. She has done well for herself and made a great achievement on pageantry. And just so you know, the first pageantry was held in the United States in 1921, Miss America pageantry, won by Margaret Goldman. 1921 to today has been a century, and I think beauty pageantry should be applauded for existing over a century. What do you think about that? And before I get to you, we have to talk to our beautiful guest. How are you feeling, Mrs. Princess?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, how do you feel to be the first guest on Table Matters podcast?
Well, I see it as a rare privilege because I wasn't even expecting this, When I got the call, I couldn't turn it down. I accepted and came, and I'm very elated that I'm the first guest to be here with you people.
Thank you so much. We have to thank you for your time. We so appreciate that. And we have a couple or a lot of questions for you, for myself and my boss, legendary Emmanuel. Okay, so here's the first question, okay? What inspired you to start competing beauty pageants?
Well, that boils down to a whole lot about my personal life. Growing up, life was quite tough, and there were a lot of challenges I had that threw me from top to bottom, especially when my dad died. I'm a single mother. I had my daughter when I was 15, going on 16, dropped out in SS2 and then became pregnant, and everything seemed so blurry about life. I wasn't making headway at all. Family wasn't happy with me, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I looked within myself and I said, there are a lot of things I can do to reach out to the masses, not just myself, that I can use my story to impact a lot of lives. One other thing that gave me a push was the fact that I ended up in the village. I was living in Port Harcourt, became pregnant, ended up in the village, farming and doing all manner. Wow. So I looked around my immediate environment and saw that a lot of young girls, or do I say young ladies like me at the time, would have one child and end up having up to 3 unplanned. All these unwanted pregnancies, and they are not able to avoid it. When one happens, it's almost like giving you the momentum to go for another because you feel that you have done one, so you can actually, and then that's the only thing they fall back on because they are hoping that the fathers of these numerous children will be able to cater for them and provide their basic needs of life. And I said to myself that this is not the path to follow. I have made one mistake. And with that mistake, I can actually, I'm sorry I'm calling it a mistake. Not like my child is a mistake, you get, but she's a blessing. And I'm very grateful to God for giving me such a child, But in order that I could get a platform to reach out to more of such young ladies that became victims of teenage pregnancy, unwanted pregnancies and all that, I said I was going to vie into pageantry. Eventually, I did. I started off with Miss Ekpetiaba in 2011. I became the first runner-up because I failed one question, and then I wasn't satisfied. I said I needed something more than this. So I bumped into this Miss Salga pageant advert placement on Facebook, and so I said, wow, I'm not from Sagbama, but I could actually give it a try to see if it would help me develop more of what it requires, like the criteria, the dynamics it requires to become a greater beauty queen of a greater platform, so to say. So I went for it. To the glory of God, I won. That gave me an edge over a lot of challenges I had. You know, when you do something wrong all the time and suddenly people see you do one thing right, it's almost as though you have redeemed yourself and your reputation from the mud. You know, so to summarize the whole thing, it was actually my pain that gave me the push. And then the pain of what I was seeing happening to young girls like me in society that gave me the push to go into pageantry.
And our official sponsor on this episode on Table Matters podcast is brought to you by Everything Kara. Everything Kara has Kara food tray, Kara beans, Kara plantain chips, what I'm having, Kara crayfish powder, Kara smoked fish. You want to try having some Everything Kara? Of course, the best delicacy. Everything Kara delivers nationwide. Get one for yourself and get one for your friends. If you have a birthday, contact Everything Kara. Call the number on your screen and follow us on Instagram. Of course, we can deliver nationwide.
Wow, this your story is so amazing, honestly. So on your years of pageantry, you're going to pageantry and all of that, doing pageantry from one pageant to the other, like what you said, what you're saying, you've gone to so many pageants, so many events, contesting for so many pageant events and all that. So on your years of this pageantry, what is your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement, I can almost say, has been to develop my self-confidence
Okay.
and build myself back into society.
Yeah.
That one thing I have done wrong is not a yardstick for me to feel like I am no longer part of the earth.
Yeah.
That there is still much more within me I can give back to society and even myself. You know, so my greatest achievement is myself.
Yes, well, yeah. Like your achievement, like you do some humanitarian services.
Yeah, of course I did. Even up till now, I do.
Okay.
You know, so during the time I won Miss Salga, that was when I began some pet projects. I started off by going to pay courtesy visits to schools, primary schools, secondary schools, and you know, during such times we have interactive sessions with the students, and we talk about a whole lot of things that pertain to their lives and society. You know, so I was able to. I had a blueprint. And I worked on my blueprints to a reasonable extent. I can almost say that I achieved almost, like, let me say 85 to 90% of the things I had listed out on my blueprint.
You have done a whole lot for yourself. So I have another question for you.
Okay.
Can you share a memorable moment or experience from your pageant journey?
Well, it would be the one I contested in Miss Bielsa. The pageant was actually held in December 2013 because my tenure was to run through 2014. So while we were on camp, I had a whole lot of challenges. Stories like she has a child, she's not supposed to be here, kind of things. You know, I was so sometimes out of annoyance, I overreacted, and my outburst almost made me get expelled from camp. You know, but I didn't relent. I did not relent. It was more like a slap on my face. Having young girls like me, some I'm older than, some older than me, they just sit in their groups, gossip, like, how could she have had a child at such a young age? Look at her, she's not. And sometimes they say it to your hearing just to pain you.
Yeah.
So I'm not holding this as a grudge against anyone. Of course, I am not perfect. I've had my frailties as a human being, you know. Yeah, I also offended a whole lot of people during that period, you know. So the most memorable period I had during my days of pageantry was when I contested Miss Bielsa. I've never had any pageant as challenging as that. We were almost 30 girls, if I'm not mistaken, contesting in that pageant. I cannot say that I was the most intelligent or the most beautiful. Of course, there were a whole lot of them more beautiful than me. You can imagine how challenging, almost 30 girls, if not more, if I'm not mistaken, 31 or 32 thereabouts, you know. So on the day of the pageant, I almost did not have the confidence to pull out what I had on my inside to face the rest of the contestants. But When I mounted the stage and I saw people from my community, from my clan, you know, they were like everywhere. Immediately I mounted the stage, everywhere it was just very noisy. It was my name echoing in the whole, I think we did it in the banquet hall. Oh. No, sorry, cultural center, yeah. My name was everywhere. I was like, wow, that gave me a bit of boldness. When I went backstage and came back again, I saw that I performed better than the previous time I had come out, and it was tough. It was challenging, you know, but at the end of the day, I pulled through and I won the pageant, you know, so that's the toughest I've had so far.
Wow. You know, we normally hear stories like as an organizer and contestant having some closed door conversation concerning the crown, want to get let me give you this crown and you give me something in return and all of that. Did you in any chance face or experience such in your time?
You know, in every story, in every lie, in every rumor, there's an iota of truth. Yeah. It holds. That story does not hold 100% of water in it, but I can say that it happens. Not all pageant organizers do such things, you get, but there are some that are organizing these pageants because they want to use this medium to for selfish benefits. You get, so sometimes they some will call, and all, will I say 2 or 3 persons called me like that. I never contested in their pageants. You know, so when they hear that, okay, this girl is good, she has contacts, she has this, she has that, she can actually bring money, she can sell forms, tickets rather.
So they're actually luring guys into the pageant, so you sell form or...
You know, you sell the tickets. Okay. So with that now, they are fetching more money. Okay. So financially, I think that's what gives them the push to want to start calling you, wanting to negotiate terms of whatever, you know, after you must have won or before you win, kind of something. It's not everyone that does it. Those that are selfish do it, but those that are not selfish keep their hands clean from all such frailties, and they just, you know.
That's a great one. I have another question for you.
It's okay.
My questions are not tough.
Okay.
But this might be. The pageantry brands you have worked with in your career, can you say they give out all the winning prizes they advertised during the show?
In all fairness, I repeat, I will not sit here to undo myself and justify another person's actions. Now, before the pageants, during the sales of forms, you will see things like the winner goes home with 5 million, 1 million, a car, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, you've won the pageant. 7 months are long gone, nothing comes. You're agitating for whatever you're supposed to have won, your entitlements, and you don't get anything. So I can say that 98% of pageants in Bayelsa are just a make-believe. Yeah. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth about it. Because there are situations, I'm sorry, there are situations where a contestant will win a pageant and she's made to hustle out. Let me use that word, hustle. She's made to hustle out whatever entitlement she's supposed to have. Okay. And that's what makes a lot of them sway or deviate from their own personal principles of life and then begin to indulge themselves in and with things they are not supposed to be seen doing as beauty queens. So not all pageant organizers are able or financially capable to provide all of those things they advertise. And in fact, it's a means to attract people to come. You know, when you want someone to do something for you, sometimes you give them what they want. Okay, so in order that some persons, is a business venture. So in order that some persons get all the money they are hoping they will get from the influx of persons that will be seated in the audience to come watch that pageant, and from however these other contestants are able to raise money to bring, they put all these attractive flamboyances in front of your face, and you are looking at it and you cannot just say no. But at the end of the day, you go and you see that it's even more vague and vain than you ever thought it could be.
When I will hustle, carry my bag, they walk out from place to place, they sell tickets, and at the end of the day, I will not get what you advertise on your flyers. It's not fair. It's not fair. But there's one question I've been meaning to ask. Every time this thing hits on my head, I hear people they talk about time. I don't know how it will sound, but it's somehow, this question of they said modeling is a more advanced way to prostitution. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, first of all, let me clear the air on this. Modeling is totally different from pageantry. Okay, pageantry is where we have contestants come from diverse cultural and ethical backgrounds, contesting for a particular, like they are vying to win something. But in modeling, you have them come to showcase, especially fashionable art items. That's a very simple way to. Yeah. Okay. So
Together, all of them are just models.
not necessarily. I wasn't a model before I went into pageantry.
So, but I believe you've been hearing about this plenty talks about pageantry and models and how advanced the pageantry and all that is, and saying, waiting till they talk about those things, say that be another way to prostitution. I don't know. People they always talk about it. So, what do you have to say about that?
Oh well. Actually, if you listen to me properly when I said something earlier about hustling.
Yes.
Hustling now their entitlements, I was almost about to hit the nail on its head.
I heard that.
Now, there are human weaknesses attached to every existing person on the surface of the earth. Whoa. Everybody has a price.
Yeah.
And if it's a payable price, definitely you will be bought.
Yeah.
Okay. In pageantry, it opens you up to a whole lot of temptations than good. Except you are so principled and disciplined. Perhaps your parenting, or would I say family background, or your own personal values of life. You wouldn't want to deviate from those things, so you wouldn't want to do as they say. There are some pageant winners, beauty contest winners, so to say, that let me say it this way. While we're all camping, sometimes you would ask somebody like, why are you contesting in this pageant? And you hear them say things like, I define contacts. I want to use and get contacts. You get the thing. So
yes.
It's not everybody that comes with the mindset to want to serve the public in a good way, so to say. Yes. Now, some of them are coming to serve with their bodies. They say beauty pageant winners are beauty with brain. They are endowed with beauty with brains, but some persons are endowed with beauty and vanity. I'm not sitting here to undo anyone. I am not sitting here to justify my own perhaps wrongdoings during my days of pageantry. But if we must look critically into these things, people are not far from the truth when they say that pageantry is a glorified form of prostitution. Okay. Yeah, because let me use my personal experience as an example here. During the time I won Miss Bayelsa, there was somebody I was deeply involved with. Of course, it was almost leading to something like marriage, and then at the end of the day, stories began to come up. I saw her in this man's office. I saw her with that man talking there. Sometimes we are innocently paying courtesy visits because there are projects we would want to do, and they will say, write to so and so commission, write to so and so firm, write to so and so NGO. So when you write to them, they would want to see you to have a one-on-one with you. And when you go there, Bayelsa is a small state. So there's no way somebody that knows somebody will not see you there. And once they see you there, okay, this girl said they follow them, they do this kind of hookup stuff. I'm saying this because it's not everybody that does it. I had a whole lot of challenges with that. Sometimes I'll be on radio, I'll be on TV, and at the end of the day, people will see me somewhere and they cannot even put a face to the name they've been hearing. Because, like I said, if you're principled, if you're disciplined, you won't toe the path of those that were actually into such things. So when I say people are not far from the truth, they are not. Everybody has a reason for doing something they do. Some go because they want to use it as a means of prostitution to help their lives. Some go because they want to serve or give back to society. So it's actually not very correct. It's actually not very wrong.
Okay, that's very good. One thing I also want to ask: is there an exchange by sex to win a pageantry? Is there a negotiation for sex to win a pageantry?
Okay, in order that someone wins a pageant or how, okay. I cannot say yes or no to that because it never happens to me. Perhaps it's happening to others because you would sometimes hear that, okay, when a particular winner has been announced on the stage by the MC anchoring the program, and then you hear somebody agitating at the background and they are like, backstage rather, and I'm supposed to win this thing. He told me to do this. He told me that I did. And for me, I cannot hold anybody's words for a truth to that effect because it never happened to me. I did not have a personal experience with that.
This is very, very, very sounding interesting, honestly. Like you've really done well for yourself. Like you've done well. But as I want to put and say, you could be like the God, man don't call her godmother. No, this is not godmother. They always call it queen mother, Abby. Yeah. Queen mother for the first person that won the pageant. Yeah, you call her queen mother. As if let me just call you queen mother because you've been through a lot. You understand the pageant. You know the business very well. As a queen mother, what kind of advice will you give to the young aspiring contestants?
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to say that there's something they call youthful exorbitance, or what's that word?
Yeah.
If you know that you do not have self-control over the kind of urges you have, don't vie into pageantry. Like I said before, it opens people up for a lot of temptations.
Yeah, yes.
And it is not everything that happens to you you can actually discuss with anybody.
Yes.
You understand? There are some times that we've heard of contestants being raped.
Yes.
Situations like that. If you were seated in your house, will a pageant organizer carry you from your house and go and rape you because of, So, if you don't have self-control, if anything happens and you know that you don't have anybody that will stand behind you to fight for you, don't go into pageantry. And if you know that you are easily lured into doing things like you don't have a mind of your own, don't go into pageantry. Because at that time, see, in pageantry, it's not just the competition on stage. Outside of that time, a lot transpires. Yes. Now, you will see somebody that is also a beauty queen, probably not even from the same platform as the one you have emerged a winner, doing very well for herself, and you would want to measure up. There's no way you won't start involving yourself in things and activities that ordinarily are against your values and principles of life.
Exactly.
So that competition of a 1-year tenure is worse and much more stronger than that one you contest on the stage on that night. That thing that happens to you that night, that crown that comes on your head, comes with a whole lot of trivialities. Let me put it that way. Now, I have won a pageant. Someone else that won another pageant has a car. As a Miss Bias, I did not have a car. I was mocked. I was laughed at. But what's my business? What do I care? I go jump keke, jump bike. That time there was even bike in Bayelsa, 2014. I dey jump bike. Something I no be Miss Bayelsa be that. I will even see my fellow contestants. They are like, you never still buy moto. Oh. You get that? So sometimes you're just taken aback, and sometimes when you get back home, you have a lot of things to think about. And then one man somewhere is like liking you, wanting to have something to do with you, and you're looking at him like, if I actually have something to do with this man, I can actually buy a car. So when I say if you do not have self-control, if you do not have strong values, do not go into pageantry. I'm sounding this as a warning from the stance, or will I say from the circumference of experience. If you do not have self-control, do not go into pageantry, because you will commit a whole lot against yourself and above all things against God. So it's best you sit at home, make them not know your name, make them not know your face. Popularity, fame comes with a whole lot that one cannot bear alone. It's not a thing of midnight prayer.
Yes,
it's a thing of self-discipline. That's true. So if you're not conscious of those elements that I've just listed out here, please stay back at home. If you don't get fear of God, no go pageantry, because you might even go and do blood money. So that's
Oh my. Oh my, this is very, very educating, honestly. This okay, like now you know most of this brand, this pageant brands and all of that. So like which of the pageant brand where you think say who won't even think to come contest pageant go avoid?
Asking me that question is going to make me, or it's almost like asking me who do you hate the most in your family. One thing did not work out for me does not mean it will not work out for you.
Yes.
Like I said, I get problems with people when I did into pageantry. Sometimes some pageant organizers will look at me and say, you're the most stubborn beauty queen I've had.
Yes.
And I know it's the truth. I can be very stubborn.
Yes.
Now, my stubbornness sometimes has saved me from a whole lot. I'm not saying it's good to be stubborn as a woman, no, but you cannot tell me to do what I don't want to do at the time I don't want to do it, when I know it's even against my rules and regulations. Okay, so like I said before, what does not work for me might work for someone else. Everybody has their own laid out rules and plans, their own dictates as to how to live their lives. So if one person sees that pageantry is the platform they would use for prostitution, and a particular pageant organizer encourages that, will I be able to stop the person not to go for that pageant? You understand? So like I said, some of the pageant organizers would organize it because of their own selfish interest and benefits in it, while some are doing it because they want to expose our young girls, our young men to perhaps global exposure, career opportunities. A lot are out. Like there are more positive impacts pageantry can actually have on someone's life than the negative. I am a testament to that fact, so for the fact that it didn't work out in a particular way for me, like I didn't gather all the millions people expected me to gather during my tenure, does not mean that someone else will not gather that amount of money or even much more. So if it works for me, it doesn't work for someone else. It boils down to personal values and personal differences, so I cannot say for sure that this one go for this pageant, that one don't go for that pageant, because people are even liable to change. The one that is good today can actually be bad tomorrow. So who can I advise to go for one and not to go for another?
Just the last question I have for you. Do you have any comments on Yenagua pageantry? Do you think there should be more improvement? What do you think about it?
Except I can only answer that question to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Give us the best of your knowledge.
Pageantry now, it's like a thing of me self, I'll be pageant organizer, you self, you be pageant organizer kind of. It's a thing that happens every day, everywhere, everyhow and anyhow now. There is no form of discipline in it. There is no form of check and balances, let me put it that way, because everybody can just, without even registering their platforms, they just start it up. And then some of these people are actually whack. Even in the pattern of organizing these pageants, everything is poor from the beginning to the end. They are almost making it look like a fraud. And it has destroyed the reputation and image of what pageantry actually stands to represent in the world at large. For me, I don't know, but I never go any state where get pageants, then pass Bayelsa. Bayelsa get, if you look me, beauty queen. If you look that side, beauty queen. Everything now is a beauty pageant in Bayelsa. Every name is attached to a beauty pageant. It don't too much. Let us cut it down a bit. Let's call it let's call a spade here. It don't too much. We should take it easy. And these upcoming ones are even the ones pushing the girls that are emerging as winners into prostitution and into the streets. Yes. This is not how parents are bringing their children up. You are making them deviate even from the ways of God. Pageantry started in the Bible with Queen Esther, Mordecai's niece. That's where it started. I think in Esther chapter 7 or so thereabout. Hallelujah. So pageantry as a whole started with Queen Esther in the book of Esther chapter 7. I know that for sure we cannot compare things of those Bible days to what we have happening around society today, but I can only advise Bayelsans entertainment industry is not the only way to earn a living for yourself. You will not create a platform claiming you're trying to look for avenues to harness the giftings in the people that are coming for those pageants, and then you are harvesting them and sharing them or selling them off to some people of some class as rated by society to probably want to have some form of sexual intercourse with them before bringing money for your show. Some persons already have their winners before the pageant.
Exactly.
So when these ladies in question agree to the terms and conditions attached to wearing that crown for that 1 year, they don't mind anything that comes their way because they are open for it. They are open for it. So anything the organizer says, I've seen a situation where someone called me. That one wasn't even somebody that organized the pageant I contested. He just happened to call me and was like, he got the contact of one big man somewhere in Abuja, and that the man has sent some money to settle me. So I just have to go to Abuja. They will book my flight, blah, blah, blah. She just give my names according to how I have them on any valid ID card, so they could use it to book my flight ticket. I was like, do I know you from anywhere? He said, I don't know him, but he knows me.
What?
That, Princess Eradiri, I've heard about you, I've seen you, I even attended the Miss Bayelsa pageant you won, and I got your number from somebody very close to you, in quotes, and I showed your picture. They have your pictures, they advertise you to people that are ready to buy you by your price. Earlier on, I stated, every human being has a price. So once you are buyable, you will be bought. So these things are some of the things that make young people in Bayelsa. I am not afraid of saying this on camera because now, because of the money they find, they make they drag people daughters into prostitution. It's just you want to use them as an avenue to be cashing out. Now, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. You are making people sin against God. I am not a saint. I am not here to judge anybody's actions. You are making young women sin against God. The Bible says in Proverbs, have you seen a woman? How do I say this in clear terms so it will not look as though I'm just quoting the Bible verbatim? Have you seen a decent woman? Her price is far above rubies. Some of them are having this Christian backgrounds and upbringings, but because of the love of your own love for money, you are dragging them into things you feel that they can do to empower your pockets. Now, her price is no longer far above rubies. Any amount, rubies is money. That's why I didn't want to quote the Bible verbatim. Have you seen a decent woman? Her price is far above money. So if a man will give you 50,000 and tell you to bring somebody's daughter, you take the person's daughter to him and he sleeps with her, and then you have pocketed the 50,000. Maybe you give the girl 10,000, 15,000, and she calls herself a beauty queen. That is the trade happening in the pageantry industry. Although not every pageant organizer does it, but it's a common term in Bayelsa now. In fact, as a matter of fact, I would want to use this opportunity to call on the state government. Any setup firm, organization, or body that is in charge of checking these things should do that, because we are losing our young girls into prostitution.
Exactly.
And when I stood up to say these things in my time of pageantry, I was the most hated among all the beauty queens that existed in Bayelsa State. Until today, I do not give a hoot about that, because the truth has to be told. Commissioner for Women Affairs, Information, Commissioner for Etiquette, I call on you to come out, because this thing, our daughters, we are losing them to prostitution. How much is the money that will not finish in their hands? Is it just about buying one expensive hair somewhere and then you come and flaunt yourself in front of everybody claiming to be a beauty queen and everything ends there? Are you thinking about tomorrow?
I swear.
Because the day will come, you don't even know whether those men you are sleeping with is their sons that will marry you. I suffered a similar fate while I was Miss Bayelsa. I had a very good and smooth relationship going with someone, and he called it off because I was a beauty queen. He felt I was on every man's bed. Of course, you cannot blame anybody. Pageantry in Bayelsa is prostitution, and it has to stop. If you have a heart for your daughters, if you have a heart for your sons, pageantry in Bayelsa State must be checked properly. If you know you cannot provide the so-called entitlement you are displaying everywhere, luring these girls to come and contest for, because everybody's looking for an avenue to make it good for themselves and their lives. So if you're just attracting people to come and take them deeper into sins that they cannot come out from, making them get addicted to sex and every other kind of societal vices that will make them not even be able to stand tomorrow anywhere to defend themselves, then you are moving with a doom's glory. And I pray that God will answer to you one day. These are the things I was crying out for.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
It has to stop. I'm sorry if I've offended anybody, and I am saying this with apology and even unapologetically. If you're angry because you're feeling guilty. I rest my case here.
That's been a whole lot of a whole lot of education.
I swear.
So much we've learned on this episode on Table Matters Podcast. And with that, to wrap it up, don't forget your amazing host, legendary Manuel, myself, Odogwu Vibes, and of course, our princess. Thank you for staying with us here on Table Matters Podcast. It has been so wonderful having you here. Thank you for educating us. Thank you for also sharing your insights on everything. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, and stay tuned with Table Matters Podcast. Of course, Matadigram.